models, the ultimate hobby. This is the building of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to create a beautiful centerpiece, to seek out new builders and young model makers, to boldly go where no model has gone before.
Welcome everyone to the Model Frontier. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you don't miss a second of any of my great content. Well, this is it. I'm so excited for this. This is the moment that for a little over a year, myself and a lot of other people never thought we would see. But here we are. Today, we're on final pack of building the Enterprise D. It's only 2 stages, but it's the last 2 stages of this build. I don't think we need to say anything else. Let's get right into it so we can get done with this thing and finally see it all put together. Engage. So to begin the penultimate stage of this build, we need our battery pack that we got last issue, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to get the section here, just like we did before. We want the wires to be out of the way here. We're just going to put our battery pack in. And it's going to get held in place with a pair of BM screws. Go just like that. Now we need to get our saucer section out and ready to go to finish it up. So go and grab your saucer. You can already tell I've got mine, so I'm just going to pull the camera out and I'll show you what's next. All right, now we are going to install this second battery pack into our ship. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to attach cord this open port that we've had for quite a while now, just like that. And now we're gonna have to do a little maneuvering because we got to fit the battery pack and the cord inside the ship. I've tried to kind of get this all ready, but oh, it went in easily this time. Great. So once we got that in place, we're holding it in with 6 FM screws. Once we get that installed, we're going to put in our batteries. And obviously, we know 3 AAAs, just like on the other side. Then we're going to take the top. We're going to cover the batteries up. We're going to cover the compartment up. Screw that in. So we got that tightly in place. Got some lighting going on. Not a ton because I did take the batteries out of this side, so because I only had the 3, but I will be putting new batteries in, so we'll see how that looks. But that is actually it for stage 119. And here we go, folks. This is it. Moment we never thought would come, but yet here it is. The 120th and final stage of this build. And it all starts by simply covering up this battery compartment here. And there's a screw to hold a cover on the rear of the battle section. Use that to cover it. I've already gone ahead and done that. I don't want to bring it over because we need to focus in on this section of the saucer. So even though the instructions tell you to do this in the other order, we're going to go ahead and do this because I've got the saucer face down right now, so we're going to start on the bottom section first. And it's time for us to give the Enterprise her registry marking. So the first thing we want to do is make sure this area is nice and clean, because we're going to be putting on the decal for this. Now, it's important to note that these decals have 3 layers. You have the base, the paper, you have a layer of the decal itself, and the decal has a protective pink layer on top. Now, that pink layer is going to come off, but you are going to want to wait 24 hours minimum before you take that piece off. Now, I'm going to dry fit where it's going to go, and one way you can see where it's going to go is the one is going to end up fitting right in between the 2 windows at, I believe this is 10 forward. So once you got the fit of it in your mind, it also lines up with this panel line. So once you got the fit in your mind, we're going to go put this in some lukewarm water, and then I'll show you how to get it off of here and get it on once that sets. So with the decal ready, I'm going to take my finger, get it a little wet, and I'm going to apply just a little bit of a layer of water where we're going to put the decal. Now this is important because this will give us an opportunity to adjust it easier when we get it. So once the decal is ready, best way to do this is to kind of position it where you want it to go. Use tweezers for this. We're going to position it, and then we're going to slide the decal off as we take the backing away. So you may actually want to put the decal a little up and slide it off the back. So with the backing off, we're going to move on to just adjusting it. You want to be gentle. It is a decal. Just like that. And then once you get that flat and where you want it, you kind of want to use a cloth just to kind of tap out any excess moisture that you can. Help it to lay flat. Just like that. Now, you want to let that sit for 24 hours at least. The longer you let it sit, the more dry it gets, the better that pink layer is going to come, that protective layer is going to come off. Now, we might as well do this part here too. There are 2 areas in the back where you need these decals. Let me see if I can show them to you. there's a channel right in here on each side of the ship. What you're gonna basically do, just like we did with the registry, we're gonna put some water onto the channel there. You're gonna get your decal good and wet. Take it off the paper because we gotta fit it in there. And then it's just gonna go right where it's gotta go. Just like that. And then once you got it where you want it, of course we're gonna tap it dry. Key here is tapping this dry. And then we're gonna let that sit for a couple of days. Now, unlike the registry, there's nothing to take off of this one. So this is just, once it sets, that's it. It's dry, it's good, you're done. So then you go and do that on the other side. And once that registry up there dries, I'll come back and we'll show you how to take the protective layer off of it. So after at least a day, once that's all set and dried, we gotta take this pink film off of it. And I would highly recommend you try to grab it from a section not where there's letters. I'm gonna slowly, gently lift it off. This is why it's slow and gentle. See the part of the 7 came off, so we're gonna try to get that back. Losing our letters here, I don't know why. I'm gonna be right back after we take this thing off and get these letters looking good. So bear with me just a few moments and I'll show you the results. Just like that. And you can see we got our film over here. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did lose a little bit of the lettering. I had to fashion some stuff together. They do give you one extra for this, so I mean, it's really tricky, but if you screw it up really bad, use your second sheet to kind of get a letter off it and put it in place. If you start noticing pieces coming up, like if you're pulling this way and you start noticing like the C coming up, try to find a way to get in a space, in one of these spaces, try to get some of the piece to come up and try to pull it from the other direction. And always use your finger to try to push it down. If you have to, try to get the piece off without ripping it, and then just dab a little water down and push the part back in. And that should be it. Once it dries though, I am quite impressed that You know, it looks about as good as a transfer. I'm surprised at how good it looks, to be honest with you. Doesn't really look like a decal. Like, it doesn't have that same sheen that a decal would have. It has that, you know, painted quality. So I'll give credit where credit's due on that, FanHome. That's a very good job on that. So now, for the finale, we gotta flip this over and put the other side on. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this and get the decal ready and meet you back here. So for this final part, we're gonna be focusing in on this section right here. This obviously is where this other registry and nameplate is going to go. So I've already cleaned it, I've already got it wet. Big piece with the name and the registry is nice and loose on the off the paper. So we're gonna go ahead and try to slide it right off onto the ship. We're gonna move it into position. Kind of go kind of like this. So the edge of this one is kind of right on this middle line here. It's actually just about the middle line. And the letters come just about touch these outer life pods here. And I want to get it where you want it, making sure I'm not touching anything. And then I'm going to just kind of pat these down really tightly to kind of get it into place. Kind of doing when you're patting this dry, and the key word is patting it. You don't want to rub too hard, because then you'll move the decal. You want to get as much of the water out of this as possible. Also kind of pressing down the letters onto the model. Give it a good rub down here. There we go. Now just like that, just like the other part, we're going to let this sit at least 24 hours. And then we're going to come back. We'll take the pink film off. And once we do that, the model's done. So we'll go ahead. So once that's done, we'll go ahead and do the big reveal. And then this is completed. This is it. This is the end. So, see you in another day. And there we go, just like that. Now, I'm going to give you some hints that I learned, because unlike what the videos show, and I did not get this the first time. It took me, this was my third attempt at getting this. I had to actually get a set of this from a third party who had an extra, because he got lucky. So some things I learned from this. First of all, the hotter the water, the better it's gonna stick down. So I used about as hot water as I could stand, and it stuck down pretty good. Secondly, as you're peeling, if you notice a letter coming off, stop peeling in that direction. Go to a different part and try peeling it from a different direction. For example, when I started this time, I started it from here, and I was pulling up, and this C started ripping. So what I did was I stopped, and I went to this side and started pulling up from the N and started going in this direction to keep that part down. If you see that starting to happen, if you can get the film off, you can always just wet your finger a little bit and pat it down to make sure that the letter sticks. But once that's done. That's it for this stage. That's it for this pack. And that is it for this model. So now let's take a look at what we've been working on for this particular model through 3 years and 2 companies. There you go. That's it for the Enterprise D. We finally finished our model here. It's hard to believe there was a time where this thing was on hold for so long because of Eaglemoss, but thanks to the folks at Fanhome who gave everyone a chance to finish this. This has been a great build. It's my first completed build, so I'm very excited for it. But of course, this is the Model Frontier, so gotta have another one to do. What are we gonna do next? Computer, play the footage for the next model. It's the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, the famous Millennium Falcon. While this model won't make the Kessel run in 12 parsecs, the 32-inch long, easily assembled, and highly detailed model will take you right to that galaxy far, far away. It's a model fit for any scruffy-looking nerf herder. Get started today for just $1.95, only from... Yep, that's right. We're staying in space and we're going to a galaxy far, far away to do the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. So be sure to stick around for that. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. It's one I've been looking forward to a lot. It isn't the one that won the poll, but I did mention in my poll for the next model that if my original pick came back, I would be doing that one. Well, my original pick did come back. So stay tuned. That's going to be starting sometime in February. I'll have a link down to that one down below as well, that you can subscribe to that and follow along with me if you wish. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing the Enterprise get built. I will catch you next time on the Model Frontier.